Hello, third grade, and welcome to another virtual science lesson. Today is going to be focused on the water cycle and characteristics of clouds. So let's jump right into it. Your objective is to be able to identify the phases of the water cycle and the different cloud characteristics that impact the weather by tracking the daily climate in the community around you. I suggest that you get or make a notebook for science so that each lesson you can write notes down on important topics. This lesson we will be learning a lot of vocabulary, so I suggest you pause this video, grab a notebook and a pencil so that you can take notes throughout the presentation. About 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered in water. Water is essential for humans, plants, and animals. There are two types of water: freshwater and saltwater. First, let's look at freshwater. Only a tiny part of the Earth's water is freshwater. Freshwater has very little salt in it. We need fresh water to drink, as well as many plants and animals need fresh water. Rivers and lakes contain fresh water, but most of the Earth's fresh water is actually frozen. Almost all water on Earth is in the oceans. Ocean water is salt water, which contains salt, of course. It's too salty for us to drink. However, many life forms live in salt water. Water can exist as a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Ice is an example of solid water. Ice melts to create liquid water. That's what we drink. Water can also be a gas. Water vapor. It is in the air we breathe, but you cannot see it. Water changes its state. That means it changes its form. For example, liquid water can change to ice. That means it goes from a liquid to a solid. Liquid water can also change to a gas, which is water vapor. But how? Take 20 seconds to think. How do you think water changes from a vapor to a liquid? Water changes when it is heated or cooled. Let's begin with melting and freezing. When you add heat to solid water, which is ice, it melts and it becomes a liquid. When you freeze liquid water, it is cooled and it becomes a solid or ice. Evaporation is the change from a liquid to a gas. So, when liquid water gets enough heat, it becomes water vapor or evaporates. Condensation is the change from gas to liquid. So, when water vapor loses enough heat, it changes back to a liquid. This is the water cycle. The heat from the sun hits the water that's in the oceans. This makes it evaporate up. It turns into water vapor. As the water vapor rises, it loses heat. That makes it turn into water droplets inside the clouds. That's called condensation. The clouds then become very heavy, and precipitation happens. That is when water falls from the sky, either in the form of rain or snow. The water then begins to collect in places like oceans until the sun heats it up again and it becomes water vapor again, and the cycle continues over and over again. The water cycle affects the weather around us. Here are two terms that will help you understand how. The first is atmosphere. Atmosphere is the layer of gases that surround the Earth, including oxygen and water vapor. Weather is the condition of the atmosphere at a given time. I want you to take 20 more seconds to think. How can something as simple as looking up at the sky help us predict weather? If you guessed because of clouds, you're on the right track. You can look at the clouds to help you predict the weather. There are many different types of cloud. Each type has a different shape. The type of cloud in the sky can tell you what kind of weather may be coming. The first cloud type is cirrus. These are thin and feathery. They form high up in the atmosphere, where the temperature is cold. If you look up and see these clouds in the sky, that is a sign that the weather is about to change. The next type of cloud is a cumulus cloud. They have flat bottoms and are puffy on top. They look like big piles of cotton, and they usually mean pretty fair weather. Finally, we have stratus clouds. These are thin and look like blankets. They hang pretty low in the atmosphere. These clouds can mean that light rain or snow is coming soon. I'm going to show you how I made clouds in a jar. Please do not construct this experiment at home unless you have a parent doing it for you. There are elements in this experiment that can be very dangerous, so please just watch me model the experiment and do not try it on your own. In the next lesson, I will show you 2 experiments that you will be able to do on your own. If your parent would like to do this experiment for you so that you can see the clouds in a jar, the materials were listed in the beginning of this lesson. Step 1, you are going to add food coloring to a jar and place the hot water in the jar. Step 2 is to quickly spray hairspray into the jar. You then want to immediately put the lid on the jar. Next, place 3 to 5 ice cubes on top of the lid. Next, you can just watch the cloud form in the jar and then take off the lid and watch the cloud move out of the jar. If you look very closely where the water stops and the cloud starts, you can see the cloud moving a bit in the jar. So, let's review what you learned and some next steps. You can now tell me the different steps in the water cycle. You can also identify the different clouds and how they help us predict weather. Next, I want you to practice these weather term flashcards, keep your weather journal daily, and you're going to be conducting your own experiment. So, tomorrow you will see another video that shows you how to conduct 2 different experiments. You will be conducting one of your own at home and filling out your observational notes. We have also provided a weather term study set. This is a group of flashcards that has all of our weather terms on it. Please practice these flashcards for at least 15 minutes a day, as there will be an assessment at the end of the week. You will also be responsible for keeping a daily weather journal for the entire week. Please make sure you fill in the date, the day of the week, what type of clouds you see, as well as your predictions for tomorrow's weather. Remember, do not click turn in until Friday when you have completed all days of the week. Please remember, if you have any questions about this project, reach out to your teacher during their office hours. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you with our next lesson.